On today's show, we get on the water with the team of fishing fanatics. Oh, and they're all in high school. Meet a Minnesotan who takes yard weeds and turns them into very favorable edibles.
Sour.
And we dive deep to explore the world of Scubapalooza.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hi everybody, Bill and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound.
Up first today, we're headed to a Twin Cities suburb where fishing is the new cool.
And it's certainly grown in popularity, especially with high school kids.
Tonight's the last derby of the season. There'll be 4 wild card drawings. Any fish can include a pike, a rock bass, or a regular bass. Whenever you're ready, you can take off.
Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
Every Wednesday evening, all summer long, this group of anglers races across Lake Minnetonka to catch fish.
Oh, it's a big. That is a very good fish.
Oh, there she is. Atta kid. Short and fat.
A double.
Oh, yeah.
These anglers are part of the Wayzata High School bass fishing team.
Oh, he's got one.
Oh, yeah.
On him.
14 and a quarter.
There's no tryouts or anything. You kind of just sign up and you get paired with somebody to fish with.
Yeah, I just joined and never been the same. I'm gonna change it. Yeah, change fishing forever for sure.
I will use these all summer long.
Jason Alishire serves as the head coach.
My job is to coordinate and instruct the kids on fishing tactics, techniques, and strategy.
Once a month, they hold meetings to discuss upcoming tournaments, future plans, and of course, talk fishing.
Another big part of it is introducing new kids to the older kids so that we can all have a nice community that everyone fishes in. The new kids can learn the old kids' knowledge about the team, and it makes transitioning a lot easier from new to senior kids.
They can't tie a knot when you meet them, but after about 3 or 4 years, you wouldn't want to compete against some of these kids. They'll take your money. I think it's amazing. It's very important because not every kid is on the football team, the basketball team. It gives them an opportunity to make some friends outside of class and build a sport that they can continue on with for life.
This is my first year. I like it. It's fun.
Small guy, but he'll count. Every bass counts. This guy is 12 and a half.
The program launched a few years ago by former high school student Nate Ice. It was just Nate and a few friends who liked to fish.
So we started with eight kids. I think there were 7 boys and 1 girl.
Since then, it's grown to over 50 kids.
To see the kids create a great plan, figure out how to read a lake, put a plan together, catch fish, it's just really rewarding to see the full circle.
Fishing clubs like this one have popped up all over the state of Minnesota.
You know, you've seen the sport of trap shooting take off quite a bit, and this is kind of on that trajectory as far as popularity.
No money on the line tonight, just bragging rights.
There's an app called Fish Donkey that we use for our derbies.
Phone's gonna really smell like fish after you do one of these, but it's okay. It's worth it.
That ends up putting me still probably in 4th behind you.
We're gonna give out the prizes. Largest bass, Griffin Markham, 19.75, good job. Stringer of 15, Max XB.
Some greatest thing on earth.
If you're into fishing, like you can't get better than this. You know, this is the best.
I just see myself for the rest of my life just coming out and hooking fish.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, Ice Castle Fish House and RV, Leech Lake Area Tourism, and by Coors Light.
Many of us would shudder if our backyards were full of weeds. We recently met up with one woman who sees it differently. To her, those pesky plants are a delicious food source and medicine.
As they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Many cringe at the idea of their lawn being taken over by dandelions and other foreign greenery.
You know, things that people call weeds in their garden are easy to identify because we know to pull them out, or sometimes things are getting pulled out, but we really don't know what it is.
When Betsy Nelson sees unique flora growing in her lawn or garden, it's invited to stay.
I should just talk about some of the things that maybe people might weed out of their garden, because there's quite a few little friends here. But this is oxalis, and a lot of times people think it's a clover, but it isn't.
And to her, they are tasty gifts from nature.
Sour. I find that learning about plants that has rekindled that childlike sense of awe for me about the natural world.
In awe that nature provides plants that are a powerhouse of nutrition.
Another common weed that is up in the garden that a lot of us pull out is lamb's quarter. It's really mineral rich, and it's higher in nutrition than spinach. I mean, this right here, superfood. You could just go out, weed your garden, sub this for spinach. Fantastic.
Also fantastic are weedy plants that taste like fruit.
This is pineapple weed. Why is it called pineapple weed? It has a very pineapple-y aroma. When a bunch of them are flowering, I'll just pop their little yellow heads off, make a little tea. It's in the chamomile sort of family, so yeah, it's gotta be good for you.
Good for you indeed. In fact, Betsy's backyard is a full-grown medicine cabinet.
This is kind of like my medicinal plants area. Kind of everything in the garden, as any of you gardeners know, is a work in progress, but I've got a lot of lemon balm. I add it to my herbal bug spray that I make just for the nice smell. It's great for tea, and it's like a great herbal remedy for cold sores. Well, so this may be a familiar friend to many people, and I think it's commonly known here in the Midwest as Creeping Charlie. I feel like Creeping Charlie is kind of like a mean name. Its Latin name is Glechoma hederaceae, but it's actually in the mint family. A lot of people don't know that you can eat it, and it's really delicious. Creeping Charlie is really medicinal for congested sinuses, congested lungs.
Who knew? Besides foraging in her yard, Betsy enjoys sharing her passion by taking others on plant walks in the woods.
I think it's really important when you're learning about plants that you would be foraging for food or gathering for medicine to just start small, because it's really easy to get overwhelmed. If you're new to this, bring something that helps tell you what things are. Here is like a glorious patch of woodland nettles. The Latin name is Laportea canadensis, and this type of nettle does sting, but it has a totally different flavor. If I'm cooking, I prefer it, and in fact, I make a nettle cake. That's delicious. Nettles all have so many minerals, so it's good for if you're feeling a little depleted.
Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. Once it's picked, and you're not sure how to prepare it, Betsy offers classes.
I teach Ayurvedic cooking to yoga teacher trainees. I am making chimichurri, which is basically like a chimichurri sauce. This is a real easy way to use this lovely herb that many people have growing in their lawns. So this is with the Creeping Charlie. Yeah, so you can imagine if you had a bunch of grilled vegetables or some chicken or fish or steak. It's just a nice little finishing condiment.
The end goal with her love of plants is she hopes that others can appreciate what nature has to offer.
It's more of like a respect for nature approach. And I do want to help like people break through the green wall. So when you learn about a plant that is abundant and prolific, it does kind of seem like nature is saying, here, I will offer you this gift.
A gift from nature that may not be seen as beautiful, but certainly is bountiful.
There's nothing to it.
Still ahead, the story of a Hall of Fame aviator who calls a seaplane base home. But first, the life and times of divers at Scubapalooza.
Closed captioning provided by Star Bank.
Nestled in the wilds of northern Minnesota's Iron Range, there lies a hidden gem. Lake Orbegon, near the town of Gilbert, Minnesota, pays homage to the area's mining history while boasting many beautiful sights. The most surprising of which lies below the surface of this crystal clear water. It's summer, and an annual event called Scubapalooza has drawn in scuba divers and adventure seekers from across the Midwest.
Scuba diving is an adventure. Every time you go, every destination you go, it's an adventure. The whole concept for Scubapalooza is just to get the diving community together, to create more of an emphasis on getting out, having a fun time scuba diving, and getting to see beautiful places in Minnesota. Gilbert's fantastic.
They come to explore this stunning body of water.
Lake Orbegon is one of the best diving lakes in Minnesota with a lot to see.
A natural marvel created by man. Back in the late 1800s, this lake didn't exist. Instead, it was bare land full of precious iron ore. With muscle and machine, a pit mine hundreds of feet deep was carved into the landscape. When mining ended, flooding took over and a lake was slowly born. Hence the punny name, Lake Orbegon, a new gem for underwater exploration.
You know, typical lakes are muddy and your visibility in Minnesota can be, 5 to 10 feet. When you get to these iron ore pits, specifically Lake Orbegon here, visibility is fantastic. 20, 25, 30, 35 feet.
Lake Orbegon provides divers with the clear water. Event director Steve Philbrook sends them on a treasure hunt below.
It's a medallion hunt. We set 15 medallions. If you find one, you can win some great prizes.
For the divers on this treasure hunt, the lake offers a lot to explore.
There's a lot of different things to see, a lot of aquatic life. The underwater forests are really cool to go through, especially when the sun beams are dancing down on them. And
some of these views are natural. Others have been placed by man.
There's a World War II fighter plane, there's a twin-engine airplane, there's a Huey attack helicopter. A lot of interesting stuff to see.
Divers of all skill levels can agree.
Well, I actually just got certified yesterday. When you get in the water, it's actually really relaxing. And it's like, this is no big deal. It's really awesome.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff to see. There's some train cars on this side, and a Jeep, and a bus over here, and then a helicopter in the middle.
It's fun. This is our first one. We actually just got certified in May. Found the Jeep, lots of fish around the Jeep. Really cool I found a big bass that had a crawfish in its mouth. This is Scully. She's gone kayaking, boat rides. She can swim, but going down would probably not be the best for her.
Minnesota scuba divers celebrate all that Lake Orbegon has to offer. Camping, cliff jumping, and swimming to depths few ever get to see.
The cool thing about diving is you get underwater and it's just so surreal. It's so quiet, peaceful. You can see the light rays dancing through the water column, fish swimming by. It's just a place you can go and get away and just enjoy the beauty this world has to offer. Just play where most people don't get to play.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Oreo Cookies and Ritz Crackers, Mountain Dew, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Flying in float planes certainly makes sense here in the land of 10,000 Lakes.
Exactly why Ron Shera visited one of our state's most popular seaplane bases.
Dream trips, adventures of a lifetime. They often lift off right here. And this fella, Bruce Hanson, has watched dreams take off for nearly a half-century right at his place, Surfside Seaplane Base, a Lino Lakes facility and one of the largest in the country. Who knew?
A lot of our neighbors don't know we're here.
Hanson and airplanes, turns out, were made for each other.
A longing for flying ever since I was a kid. When I used to crawl up in a tree to sail model airplanes out. I remember my first plane ride was in Alexandria, 12, 13 years old. We knew a guy at the airport there. He took us up for a ride, and that really hooked me.
A few years later, Hanson had his private pilot license and a float plane rating.
To me, a float plane meant you go to Canada. I got my float plane rating, and before the ink was dry on it, practically, I was on the way to Canada. Within a week, I was in Churchill for the first trip.
Hanson purchased the sea base operation in 1970 and quickly discovered airplanes can be more work than play.
We normally have 45 to 60, somewhere in that area of airplanes based here. We do the float changeover. Any mechanical work they need is done here in our shop.
He's very giving. He will give you the shirt off his back. He will help anybody, anytime.
Oddly enough, before operating a sea base, Hanson was a truck driver. The experience came in handy.
I want to make sure we got gas in there. That would be really embarrassing to run out of gas. This is about an '86 Chevy. Yeah, it is homemade. Drove in one Saturday morning, and before the day was done, this is what we had. It works just great.
Okay, so what does this contraption do?
But nothing to it.
What is it they say about the mother of invention? All for the love of float planes, which, by the way, Hanson still flies.
Well, it's a good way to get to our place up by Detroit Lakes. So we have a place up there, and we fly up there. Got a little lake there to land on. It's very handy. To me, flying has never gotten old, and one of the reasons is because there's lakes all over to land on.
Such a cool place and such cool aircraft. I was just in a float plane literally hours ago.
Hours ago? Well, I'm glad you made it back. Well, that about does it for us. We'll see you here next week.
In the meantime, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433.